And welcome to the first 2026 episode of Lachie Does Footy. We've had some fun in 2016, didn't we? We covered all the games. The Western Bulldogs had just won the premiership, and now we're heading back on to the present, 2026, and we've got a State of Origin edition coming up in this one. But first, before we talk about the WA versus Victoria teams, well, let's turn the clock back to the last great State of Origin game. In the AFL, 1994. South Australia versus Victoria at Footy Park to celebrate 20 years of the ground. The South Australian team for that Origin game had Andrew Jarman, Stephen Kernahan, Andrew McKay. Tony Modra produced a masterclass that game. There was also Nigel Smart, Tony Francis, Troy Bond, Chris McDermott, Simon Tregenza, Darren Jarman playing this game. Gavin Wangadine, Todd Viney, Richard Champion, Darren Kapler from the Swans, David Hines, Greg Anderson, Scott Russell, The Roux, Mark Rasciuto, Ben Hart, Rob Jamison, Sean Wren, and the Rat himself, Johnny Platten. That was the last time Victoria lost a game in State of Origin. They lost by 2 points that game. Gary Ablett had the chance to win the game for Victoria in the dying seconds, and he missed everything. EJ Whitten couldn't believe it. The South Australian chairman of selectors, Neil Curley, was celebrating. So too was the coach, Graham Collins. And now we move on to the current state, 2026 State of Origin. Western Australia and Victoria are versing each other at Optus Stadium in Perth. Let's look at the lineups. Western Australia will play Lawson Humphreys, Tom Barrass, and Nathan Broad in the back line. Halfbacks, I reckon it'll be Liam Baker, Sam Taylor, and Jordan Clark. Centre line, we've got Brad Hill, Paddy Cripps, and Will Powell. Half forward line, we've got Shea Bolton, Aaron Norton, and Cozzy Pickett. Forwards, Mitch Georgiadis, Jesse Hogan, and Charlie Cameron. We've got Darcy Cameron playing in the ruck for this game, but Luke Jackson at ruck rover? He's 199 centimetres and he's basically the new Dean Cox. At rover, we've got Chad Warner. On the bench, we've got New Crow, Callum Archie, Stephen Canelio, Tim English, Rory Lobb, Jaeger O'Meara, Trent Rivers, and Jake Waterman. The coach will be Dean Cox. His assistants are Justin Longmuir, Nathan Van Berlo, and Joe Breety, of all people. That's it. And that's the Western Australia team for not just the State of Origin game against Victoria, but also known as the Michaela Hyde Derby. Michaela Hyde, who used to play for Collingwood and now plays for South Freo. If you're watching this, I've just known the State of Origin after yourself, because of your affiliation with Fremantle and Collingwood. Now we move on to the Vicks. In the back line, we've got Tom Stewart, Sam Collins, and Josh Battle. Halfbacks are Lockie Ash, Jacob Waitering, and Jack Sinclair. Centre line, we've got Caleb Sarong, Matt Rao, and Hugh McCluggage. Half forward line, Zach Butters, Ben King, and Noah Anderson. Forward line, we've got Jack Gunston, Sam Darcy, and Paddy Dangerfield. Ruck line, Max Gorn, Marcus Bontempelli, and Nick Dacos. Interchange bench, we've got Toby Green, Max Holmes, Zach Merritt, Ed Richards, Tristan Sherry, Blake Hardwick, and Bailey Smith. Shane Christian Petrarca would be playing in the State of Origin game because he's starting to get settled into life over in Queensland for the Gold Coast Suns. And for the coach, we got Chris Scott. Assistants are Sam Mitchell, Sean Grigg, and Danny Daly. Well, the betting odds are looking really good for Nick Dacos to win the EJ Whitten medal, and for Cozzy Pickett or Chad Warner to win the Graham Moss medal. Victoria are looking good to win this game against Western Australia. My predicted margin to this game, I've got a feeling I reckon Victoria will get up by about 14 points. Because Victoria's because although Western Australia's got a good side, but who's going to beat Victoria's star-studded team? They haven't lost the State of Origin game since 1994. Also for this episode, before we get to the predictions next week for the rewards, let's do the opening round predictions for 2026. As we are back to normal. Thursday night we got the Swans and Carlton at the SCG. This is Charlie Curnow versus his old side for the first time. Will Hayward and Ollie Florent versus their old side for the first time, as they are now Blues. For this game, I reckon Charlie Curnow might actually help the Swans win against his old club. I'm going Sydney by 35 points. Friday night, Gold Coast and Geelong at People First Stadium. Christian Petrarca makes his son's debut. Jamara Ugle-Hager might also make his son's debut that night. James Warp will be the only one making his Cats debut after his arrival from Hawthorn. For the game, I got Gold Coast getting up by 31 points. Now on Saturday footy, Royal GWS certainly do miss playing Collingwood on opening round. Now they're versing Hawthorn. Although Hawthorn didn't trade for anyone in the trade period, and the Giants only just got Clayton Oliver. Could GWS get better with Oliver, or will they get worse? As for Hawthorn, well, they nearly had Zach Merritt on their clutches ready for opening round against the Giants. For this game, I reckon the Hawks will probably get up that game, just like they did in the elimination final. Hawthorn by 2 points. Saturday night, Brisbane are once again unfurling the pennant. They won back-to-back, and they're versing the Western Bulldogs at the Gabba. The Bulldogs are not won at the ground since the semi-final in 2021. The Lions have got a really good record at home. The Gabba has been a fortress since 2019. For this game, I've got a feeling I reckon the Brisbane Lions will likely get up in there to start their premiership defence. Brisbane by 21 points. Now for the last game of the round, Sunday night at the MCG. This is the round where the F1s are still in Melbourne. This will be a great night to end the Formula One racing event in Melbourne. St Kilda and Collingwood at the MCG. Could this potentially be a stitch-up game? As opening round this is a new season opener in Melbourne, St Kilda and Collingwood. Sorry, Richmond and Carlton, you've just been relegated to the second game of the season in Melbourne, as Saints and Collingwood are now first. Considering, well, St Kilda are becoming an improving side and Collingwood have been really good for so long. Well, for this game, well, I kind of got a feeling after this game, this could potentially be the first game in 12 years Jack Crisp might miss the next week if he's unlucky against the Saints. I've got a feeling I reckon St Kilda might actually get up in this game against Collingwood by 1 point. With Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani, Liam Ryan and Sam Flanders all making their Saints debuts. Collingwood, I don't know, their new recruit Jack Buller will make his debut that game. Anyways, that's the end of the episode, and we'll see you next week for the predictions for the season ahead.